evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Mitchell Ringos. Thunder Bay City Council will hear a request tomorrow night from the CEDC to move $500,000 from their reserve fund towards Lakehead University's planned veterinary program. The CEDC needs to go through council, even though the money comes from its own reserve, as any project over $100,000 is subject to city approval. LU is currently working towards establishing the VET program, which would be in collaboration with Guelph University. CEDC President Jamie Taylor says the program would bring benefits for the region economically while also addressing a crucial need.
Having to travel to different communities for vet services for their household pets. We're hearing that they're having to travel to the United States, but we're also hearing that that's starting to or is impacting large animals, right? So there is a food security issue here that is underway, and this is a piece of the solution.
Taylor will be providing a presentation at City Council on Monday, joined by LU President Moira McPherson. Around a dozen deputations were made during an Ontario Finance Committee meeting in Kenora this past week. Funding requests were made by a wide variety of groups, each hoping to be considered in the province's 2023 budget. Vasilios Bellos has more.
The KDSB, in partnership with Seven Generations Education Institute, is asking the province for $21 million to cover 75% of the capital costs for an expansion to the Seven Gens Kenora campus. That would include residential units for students and their families.
Student dorms, like bachelor units, but also multi-bedroom, because we do know that we have single parents who are looking to get an education who have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and counting children. And what we also want to end is the cyclical, just a generational cycle of poverty as well, knowing that if we help mom, we will help the children.
The KDSB also made an appeal for more affordable housing supply, while Seven Generations is asking for dedicated operational funding.
One of the things we have to do is rent out half of this building in order to make ends meet.
The Kenora CMHA is also asking for operational funding. They're looking for an increase of at least 8%, saying their budget has not kept up with increasing demands and that they are struggling to retain staff.
We simply cannot do more or provide even the same level of service when we aren't resourced properly.
The Kenora Seniors Coalition wants provincial support for a safe consumption site in the city, although MPP Dave Smith encouraged the group to find a local proponent, as the government itself doesn't lead the process.
Citizens of Kenora, young and old, are ready for action to be taken to clean up our streets.
The Northwest Business Center is looking for a funding increase, saying their budget hasn't gone up in more than 10 years. Forestry companies Weyerhaeuser and Resolute are both asking for the province to address a skilled labor shortage and to divert byproducts of the industry away from landfills.
It's sustainable, it has a positive element to climate change, and yet the government doesn't do enough to support this industry.
The red tape in order to get a landfill is timely and cost prohibitive, so we need the government to look at ways of utilizing the biomass that's available in Ontario for other things and not going to landfills.
One group that did not ask for provincial funding was the District of Kenora Unincorporated Areas Ratepayers Association. They pay the province directly for some services that might normally be handled by a municipality. They want more transparency on where their money is going, and they want to see some of their money directed into municipal long-term care. Vasilios Bellos, TBC News.
Mission Island has long been known as the place to see wild deer up close. From families with young children to retired couples, many Thunder Bay residents enjoy the close encounters. However, feeding the deer is technically illegal under city bylaws, and those who are doing so could be fined. But as Mike Lang reports, several residents think there should not be any restrictions to feeding the deer.
Do you think people should be allowed to feed the deer?
Yeah.
And why is that?
Because
why? Are they hungry?
Yeah.
Yeah? Like you? Do you get hungry?
Yeah.
Yeah? And what do you enjoy, what do you usually give the deer to eat?
Carrots and cucumber.
Thunder Bay's unofficial park safari on Mission Island is a heartwarming but somewhat controversial pastime. While many residents enjoy the opportunities for extreme close-ups with the deer, they also enjoy feeding them which has been illegal since 2012 when a municipal bylaw prohibiting the act was passed. Yet residents still frequent the area to feed them anyway due to the bylaw's lack of enforcement, causing mixed opinions about whether the prohibition should exist in the first place.
I think it's all good, just as long as you don't feed them candy and, just the responsible Cheerios and nuts and fruits and vegetables.
I think the bylaw should stay in place. It's made more for when animals are a nuisance. Here on Mission Island, it doesn't seem to be the case, but people are going to have to decide for themselves.
We have mixed feelings. A lot of people complain about the deer crossing the roads and things like that, but I always say keep things in proper perspective. The deer didn't cross the road crossed the forest.
The bucks, fawns, and does in the area are well aware that food is just a human hand away, leading them to eagerly approach idling vehicles. This dependency on being fed could lead to them being less capable of finding their own natural food and digesting it properly. Processed human food can also put them at a higher risk for infections and diseases, notably diabetes, and seeing vehicles as a source of food and not danger can lead to more deer collisions in concentrated urban areas. But the bylaw against feeding them is complaint-driven. Thunder Bay Bylaw Enforcement Manager Doug Vincent says in his time in that role, his office has never received a single complaint about people feeding deer, and therefore, no one has been charged. So without any active enforcement, residents will be basically left at their own discretion, which means that drive-through deer feeding will continue on Mission Island for the foreseeable future. Mike Lang, TBT News.
After not being able to have an audience last year, the 2023 Ice Racing Series kicked off the first race of the season with over 100 fans in attendance. The inaugural race saw a dozen cars compete, 6 in the studded class and 6 in the rubber class, and officials say more drivers may get involved as the racing season progresses. The races will happen every Sunday until March 12th at Mission Bay. The event is free for spectators. However, monetary donations are appreciated. Autosport Club President Gary Adamko says after a tough couple of years, he's happy to have fans in attendance again.
It's awesome because, 2021, the sport was completely shut down due to COVID-19. 2022, last year, we ended up doing a fun series of only, unfortunately, 3 events, and we didn't invite the public in. So to have this sport back open for the fans and for our membership, it's just awesome. We were really looking forward to getting this package up and running.
And if you missed the first race of the season, you can catch some spectacular racing action on Sunday, January 22nd at noon. For those who would prefer to hit the slopes, Mount Baldy's much anticipated ski lift has finally been given the green light and is now up and running, with hundreds of residents flocking to the hill this weekend to celebrate. Jessica Clement reports.
After 4 years and a number of delays, Mount Baldy ski area finally has a working ski lift again. It opened up to the public on Saturday afternoon, and residents couldn't wait to hop on and test it out. The avid skiers and snowboarders we spoke to said the new 4-seater chairlift makes it easier to access the rest of the ski hill's runs compared to the T-bar that was previously used.
I mean, a lot of people, it has kept them away, right? I mean, it's frustrating. It's a hard learning curve on it. And, you're holding up the line, you feel kind of guilty, right? Where now you just get on the chairlift and ride, and it's definitely a lot easier on the body.
Oh, yeah, you can get to the whole right side of the mountain. It's amazing. It's really nice because before with the T-bar, it was really hard to get up, especially on a snowboard.
It took quite a bit of time to get, especially when these guys were younger, for them to learn the T-bar. It was pretty hard for them at first, so it took a little bit of time for them to learn it. But, yeah, now we can all ride up together, so it's nice.
Resident skiers weren't the only ones anticipating the new addition. Co-owner Dan Cardis says staff were relieved and excited when they got the call Friday night that the chairlift was good to go.
It's just basically just like, oh, finally, it's been a long haul for all of us, and we've been working night and day on this, knowing that we had to have it happen the next day. We pushed it back a little bit till 1 o'clock, so it gave us a little bit of time. But they're coming in, the crowds and the drones, and the parking lots are packed, and DJs are spinning, and everyone's having a blast, and nothing but good vibes out at Mount Baldy. It's amazing.
Cardis says the support from the public has been overwhelming, And what really kept him going over the long project is the memory of his father.
Unfortunately, he passed away 2 seasons ago, and this ski lift is going to be named after my dad, the Stanislav Express. So this is what's kept me going. My dad's a strong guy, and he made me do what I did, and it's very emotional, but this is for him. And he sees me, and I see the eagles fly up around the sky, and he's looking down going, he's proud of me.
Jessica Clement, TBT News.
A popular Disney Channel movie is being brought to the stage at St. Ignatius this week as the school's grade 11 and 12 drama class will be putting on High School Musical Junior. The musical follows the students of East High as they deal with the ups and downs of high school and features all of the catchy songs from the film. 35 students are involved in this year's production, and the group has been working on the musical since the end of September. Performances for the general public will take place this Tuesday and Wednesday, January 17th and 18th at 7:30 p.m. Drama teacher Amanda Camisso says the show highlights the importance of being true to yourself, which is something she says a lot of students can relate to.
That's why we thought this was such a great show to choose for my students to do, because it's high school students playing high school students. So they can really relate to the characters in the show. And yeah, they've had a great time doing it.
Proceeds from ticket sales go to support the U-Turn program at Sister Margaret Smith Center, which provides resources for those suffering from mental health issues.